Hello, and thank you for joining me. This is Friday, the 24th of September. It's another thought for the day coming to you from Larbert Baptist Church. Now, just the other week, I received a little bit of sad news. I learnt that the Boys Brigade Company, which I was very fond of and have very many happy memories of, I found that it had finally closed its doors for the last time. The 113th Belfast Company of the Boys Brigade is no more after 50 odd, nearly 60 years of ministry. And incredibly, at the end, the same captain was in charge. The captain who began and founded the company all those years ago was still at the helm, organising things when it closed down. Now, I have, as I said, very many fond memories and still have a lot of friends that I made during my formative years in the Boys Brigade. And I just want to mention one, well, I was going to say one young chap, but he's now a man of my age. And I just call him Parky. That's his nickname. Now, Parky joined the 113th Company of the Boys Brigade when he was 5-year-old. And he went through the ranks, the juniors, the anchor boys, company section, etc., etc. He went right through the ranks. And then he stayed on. He was asked to stay on as a helper, as a leader. And he continued to do that. And he did that right up until the end. So Parky is now 65, and if he joined the Anchor Boys when he was 5, that means he's been attached to this Belfast Company of the Boys Brigade for 60 years. Now, that's remarkable in itself. But the other thing that is quite remarkable is that in those 60 years, Parky missed just two BB evenings in all that time. And he only missed those two because he was in hospital at the time. Now, I've worked out roughly that means over the years, there were approximately 2,500 BB nights, of which Parky just missed 2. And I'm glad to say that that dedication was rewarded in a Sunday service not all that long ago. And Davy Hunter, the captain, was of course rewarded as well for his diligence over all those years. Now, it made me think, friends, because I was reflecting on what, at least for me, used to be my church experience as I was growing up. And I appreciate this is not the same for everyone, but when I was a teenager, for example, there was a church youth club on a Saturday evening, which was, again, lots from the Boys Brigade, lots from the church attending that. When it came to Sunday, there was the Boys Brigade Bible class at 10 o'clock in the morning before the morning service. So we went to both of those. Not just myself, but a lot of my friends from the Boys Brigade. We went to the Bible class, then we went to the church service. In those days, Sunday school was in the afternoon. So we were back at church at 3 o'clock in the afternoon for the Sunday school for an hour, about an hour and a half maybe. After that, of course, there was the evening service, and that was followed by the youth fellowship. So it was quite a busy weekend, and I have to say I wasn't press ganged into going to these things. I loved going along with my friends to all these various meetings. It was like a social hub, and it was focused on the church and church ministry and the things of God, which was wonderful. And not only that, back in those days, there was a separate night for prayer and a separate night for Bible study during the week. And when I was a wee lad, there was also a men's Bible class, conversational Bible class on a Sunday as well. So there was plenty going on, and as I said, I used to enjoy it, and I have to admit I took it for granted, but friends, I'm not taking it for granted anymore, because think what's happened nowadays. The prayer meeting and the Bible study years and years ago was combined into one meeting, one midweek meeting, which for a lot of churches has fallen by the wayside. There is no longer a midweek meeting, I think, in the vast majority of churches. The weekends activity, instead of being a complete programme of youth work and Sunday school work and Bible classes and BB work and morning services and evening services, the trend for some time now, and this has been accelerated because of the pandemic, the trend for some time now has been less and less coming together. And again, I hesitate, but perhaps I'm right in saying, certainly here in Scotland, for the vast majority of churches, there's just the one service on a Sunday morning, and everything is packed into that one service. The Sunday school or the Bible class, even youth fellowship sometimes, they all run at the same time. So there's just that one service on a Sunday morning, and that's it. Now, what concerns me somewhat, friends, it's quite obvious, it's quite simple. If this trend continues, we've only got that one service, more or less, at the weekend. And the next step is for us not to have that service at all. In fact, already people are saying that the church scene has changed, and that there'll be what's called micro churches, meeting in people's houses instead of gathering together in a church building as such. We'll be meeting as little cell groups, little small groups in people's houses, which is okay, and they'll say this. That's the way it was when the New Testament times were about. You know, that's the way Christians met. But my answer to that is, friends, you know, we've been in this business for 2,000 years or so since then. You know, are we really wanting to go back to the beginning? I, for one, am deeply saddened by the amount of church closures and how the church and its ministry seems to be getting less and less and less and less. How can we reverse the trend? Well, it's down to us who value coming together and worshipping as God's people. There's no use complaining if this is happening and we are part of what is happening. So the reason I told the story about Parky at the beginning, and indeed Davy Hunter, 60 odd years of dedicated service without missing hardly one night. That's dedication. That's what we need, friends. If we are to keep going, if we are to set an example, if we're to inspire others, we need more people like Parky. So please consider these things. Pray for the strength of the church. We don't know what it's finally going to look like if and when we ever shake this pandemic. But there is a change. It has been changing for quite some time. We've got to ask ourselves, are we going to allow that change to continue, or do we want to do something about it? I leave the thought with you. I'm sorry it's a somber thought, but it is one that we really do need to consider. We can't just carry on as if nothing's happening. The Lord uses his people to spread the word, and that's what we've got to do. Okay, thank you for listening. Please keep safe, keep praying, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Until then, bye for now.